What's up, everybody? Nice opinion. Nice to see you. We're gonna get started in just a minute. Wrapping up a couple things up with the kiddos, getting them into bed. We're gonna get started about the time the timer's done. What's up, everybody? Let me pull up something real fast here. Something I wanted to talk about tonight. Before we go digging into this. Alrighty. What's up, everybody? What we got going on here tonight? Oh, I gotta fix something up real quick. Realize. Gotta get my monitors up. One second here. Got those up and cranking now. Very cool. All right, y'all, check this shit out. So, I had a pretty good day today. Smoked some ribs on the smoker, as one does. The hell else am I gonna smoke them? So, smoked some ribs today. Got to spend time with the family. It was a fun day. But as I'm getting ready to come on stream, I just got this notification. So I gotta show this to y'all. Check this out. New CVSS 10 exploit in Jenkins. So it's obviously been assigned to CVE. First thing I always want to go check is, hey, does anybody have proof of concept up on GitHub? Or is anybody making like BS bogus claims? Hold on, let's make sure this is the right one, because Google search has become absolute garbage. This is 23897. Perfect. Yeah, here we go. Arbitrary file read leading to an RCE. So they're calling this the args4j exploit. Cool, let's read about it and then go dig into that code a little bit. I want to see what it's doing here. So if anybody's not familiar, I'm gonna skim the article here, but Jenkins is designed for doing code builds, automated building process. So let's say you got a very large code base, you want it to be able to do automatic builds and post them up to GitHub. You can do all that in Jenkins. It also run tests, like, hey, make sure the build works. You have unit tests, all the other kinds built in there. You could have it run scripts as part of the build process. So you could build an entire pipeline of things that's going to happen. So I love Jenkins because it's usually always vulnerable. And there's lots of ways that if you get access to Jenkins, you could pivot into other sensitive areas. So the issue here is that basically there's a CLI built into Jenkins. Usually it's restricted, but from the script or shell environments, you can use it uses the args4j library to parse the arguments out of there. So the attack vector is actually an arbitrary file read on here. But let's look at what this is. So the remote code execution is downloading a Java heap demo. Let's see, resource, root URLs, 1, 2, 3. So there's a lot of different items in here. Looks like you can hit. Interesting. Yeah, because if you had remote code execution, bypassing CSRF protection, stuff like that, although that's pretty low on the totem pole there. There's a lot of bad things you could do if you had remote code execution. So our analysis found several attack instances originating from various regions, with the majority of the source IPs of the attacks originating from the Netherlands, while most of the targets were from South Africa. Interesting. So the Netherlands. Okay, so folks in the Netherlands were targeting a lot of places. The majority of the recipients of these attacks were in South Africa. Interesting that so many of these came out of the Netherlands. Salty, my sexy Marine. How you doing, dude? Oh, yeah. South Africa was getting BTFO'd with this. Look at that. Not even close to the others in here. At least this. So this is just one reporting metric, though, right? This is something called Shadow Server. I don't know what that is. I'm curious. Decline. Do not want your cookies. Interesting. I've never even heard of Shadow Server. What is this looking at here? Oh, I guess it's looking at, you can tag it for a particular CVE and see kind of where the data is originating from. So where's South Africa in this list? South Africa says it's 98. The United States says it's 15,806. So I wonder if that's how many systems it's seeing exposed. Interesting. Hell diving. Dude. We're having some fun with SQL stuff. Can I just reconnect that? No, of course not. All right. Close these out. Close, close, close. I finally, by the way, everyone, I know you were waiting with bated breath. I finally figured out what the hell was wrong with my DNS server. So what happened was Pi-hole uses something called FTL, and FTL's database can just grow humongously. I literally have it running on a Raspberry Pi with like a 16 gig SD card in it. More than enough to run it. However, I looked and the disk was like 95% full. So I was bumping up against like a disk usage limit. So I went through, blew away that database and had it restart, set like a maximum time to retain all that info. And now it's working just fine. I can actually resolve this stuff. I didn't have to go hard code this crap back in there to get it to work. All right, let's get a couple of things booted up and then look at the articles. All right. So this allows attackers to do an arbitrary file read on the Jenkins controller file system using default character encoding. Now, I saw somewhere else that said that you could read the first couple lines of a file, which could be bad enough, but another one said that if you were an administrator, then you could read the entire file. Let's see, attackers without overall/read permission can read the first few lines of the files. There it is. So the number of lines that can be read depends on the available CLI commands. Okay. So it's highly dependent based on if you have execution. So he's got a nice little Python script in here. Let's see what they do in this Python script. It's not a very long script if you look at it. It's like, what, 70 lines? 80 lines? Yeah. All right, so we're going to pass it a URL, file with a list of targets so we can hit multiple targets if needed, and then the file path to read from the server. So let's say, for example, we knew there was a particular user running as this. Maybe it's like a common Docker disposition, right? And so there's always like a Jenkins user in there. Maybe you try to go read the Jenkins SSH private key, right? That would be pretty bad. Okay, so launch exploit if args URL and args file. Okay, so you can give it a URL or a list. Okay, so we're going to do launch exploit here. So where's launch exploit? So not too bad. So we do format URL of the target. We're going to create a random UUID, make it a string, and then we just do some byte encoding. Okay, so we throw a shit ton of null bytes in there. And we put in the file encoding path. And it looks like it's pointing it to maybe a particular... This is weird. I'm wondering where this ENUS is in here. Because I'm looking at these. We got a couple of interesting strings in here. This ENUS, this GBK, a bunch of null bytes in here. So I'd be interested to see the execution flow of this. There's going to have an upload thread and a download thread. It's going to hit both of them. Okay. That's a really simple exploit, believe it or not. I think they rated this a 10. Ah, here we go. They have a vulnerability analysis. Nice. I just saw this article right before it came on, so this is my first time reading it. So they're going to do a post to the /CLI, get a response, post to CLI, execute commands and retrieve output, and they get a response. The HTTP endpoint requires making 2 post requests by default. One of the requests will send an upload request containing the commands and its arguments, and the second request is a download request to execute the commands and receive the output. Got it. So it calls a bunch of different libraries in here. CLI crumb execution to full duplex service, generate response download, and then framed reader. And then finally to a command line parser. Let's take a look here. So arg0 represents a UTF-8 command name or argument, sends it to the opcodes, checks for locale encoding, start exit, standard in, and then we have our basic, our standard buffers going on. So each opcode has a Boolean property client side indicating whether it's sent from the client to the server or from the server to the client. These opcodes are used to define the different types of operations that could be exchanged between the client and the server. Okay, so probably what we're seeing here is this is setting a bunch of these opcodes in here. And this is really interesting that we see this help string also. So probably this is basically like a string format error is what this is. And this is actually really interesting in here. So there's a Boolean to tell you if it was client side. So if it's sending data from the client to the server, it's true. If it's from the server to the client, it's false. These opcodes can be used to define different types of interactions. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. So this is 4 nulls and a 0A. And we got something close here, 3 nulls. Oh, so this is who am I at etc group. Interesting. So frame 1, opcode data, who am I? Interesting. Yeah, because this has to be a variable frame length if you think about it, because it's got to take in variable input. What's up, gamer? How you doing, man? Happy Sunday. This is pretty badass. I had wanted to do more binary exploitation, but I have to keep my shiny thing syndrome in check. So probably that's not going to happen until we knock out the RTO2. I think that's probably how it's going to work. Once I get through RTO2, we'll probably look at doing some more exploit development, because that's really fun. Dude, I loved exploit development in Dark Wolf LLC. I have not. Go check them out real quick. By the way, here is for the new Jenkins exploit. Here's the code for anybody who wants it. Dark Wolf, let's see. Dark Wolf LS. Sounds German. Join the pack. Drone playbook. What is this? I'm loving the pixel art though. This is legit. I gotta find out who did this and have him make me an intro. This is awesome. Nice, dude. Oh, sorry, Panda. The alpha of technology. Dark Wolf Solutions operates at the nexus of mission and technology to meet our nation's most challenging missions. Interesting. So they do a lot of government contracts, looks like. That's some pretty good bragging rights right there if you think about it. What do they have? Let's go on this again. So they got... Yeah, come on. Give me the deets. My buddies and I actually always joke about alpha. Like, if somebody said alpha, it's like, well, you know, alpha particles don't actually penetrate very deep. Beta particles, they'll wreck some stuff. Okay, so they've got some really... I mean, yeah, so they're doing a lot of government contracting, so... so Gamer, if you... I can't remember. Yeah, yes, I do remember. So you'll be set up well for this, given your background. United States Space Force! Hell yeah. I want to go work for Space Force someday. Be like, send my ass to Mars. In like 20 years when my kids are grown. Send my ass to Mars. Yeah, that's pretty badass though. They got a couple of first places for DEF CON CTFs, second, fourth, fifth. The OSENT CTF is actually really hard. That was the first thing the first CTF I saw when my very first DEF CON. It was the first year they did that. I didn't know they had Kubernetes CTF. Then maybe they don't do that every year. But join the pack. Okay, for anybody else who's looking. Let's see. Now, I bet they're probably going to be operating a lot in the Nova area, aren't they, Gamer? Nice. Let's see. Actually, take that. They got some Utah. They got some Florida. This one's a remote. This one's a remote. Colorado Springs. That makes sense. There's a big military base over there. Security researcher in Virginia. That makes sense. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting this outfit, they would operate mostly out of Nova. That's awesome. Okay. That's cool, because I'll know a lot of these folks that have these heavy government contracts, you're going to be operating very close to some department, right? Typically, those are in the Nova area. But it's not always necessarily, because I can see this. Colorado Springs, there's a big Air Force base there. So it makes sense they'd have a position available over there. Nice, dude. I will pray for you, man. Because I think you'd kick ass in it. All right. I think the lab's done booting up now. Let's hop into it. Because we got some SQL stuff to do. Why did Cobalt Strike not open? Kill me, Cobalt Strike. There we go. Now it's actually launching. I thought it was going to do all this shit in the background. We need to do it. Cool. Because I'm really looking forward to this module, because we're going to be looking at using SQL servers for lateral movement. Yeah. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ah, shit. You know what I just realized? I never set up the iPad this morning. I've been running around this afternoon. Let's get that set up real quick. Hold up. There we go. Let's get the iPad connected. So if we need to draw something, we can. Ah, it always times out the first time. All right, connect this. There we go. Now we're talking. Let's move this into position. All right. Let's see what shells we had come back. Cool. So we had 3 of these call back home, which is nice. Let's go ahead and remove all these old stale sessions. We only want the freshest of sessions. And then let's get these a little bit more interactive. We're just going to sleep tend them all, get them not full interactive, but we don't have to wait forever if we need to issue a command through them. There we go. So we have system access on workstation 2, workstation 1. I wonder what this one is. Maybe it's the SQL server or the web server. We'll let this one come back. We'll see where we want to start up with this. This one dial in. There we go. Oh, so actually we have 2. Interesting that we had a callback as Nina on workstation 1. So for simplicity, let's open up workstation 2 real fast. So we can, because we could go just steal a token as Bob and use it. But this is a little bit, I guess they're both equally realistic scenarios. So let's try that actually. Actually, I'm trying to think how I would. Because like if we did a SOX proxy in there, it's not going to instantly grab it. Now we do have Bob's NTLM hash, so we can authenticate with that. We could also use it to get ourselves a TGT and be able to access different services on Kerberos. Stream is not sponsored by Jocko, but I'm working. Oh wait, you can't see because it's all the green down there. You can't see the name. Oh no. Because it's all... That's funny. Look at this. Like if I turn it this way, it's like, ew. Oh, the green screen. I dream about having an actual dedicated space for streaming stuff, and then I won't have to have the green screen in the background, but that's probably never going to happen. All right, let's do something here real quick. Let's get... How do I want to do this? Let's minimize these. That's not suspicious at all, just having a bunch of command shells boot up as soon as you log in. Grabbing some coffee. Nice. Making coffee. If you get that joke, you're fucking old like me. Let's see. Take a look at something real quick here. So one of the things, so what we're going to be looking at kind of today is this. So our SQL servers, let's say we're on SQL2, right? Let's say, there's also an SQL1 sitting out here. So these two can actually share data amongst each other. And this is called a link. So what we're going to do is we're going to abuse this idea of the links here. Yeah, so we got SQL 1, we got SQL 2. Now the cool thing is this is in the dev domain. This one is in the cyberbiotic domain. So this one's in a subdomain, this one's in the primary one. So we can jump from the subdomain to the primary domain this way, most likely. I tell you what, let's go ahead and do something just so we can. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can type in the PowerShell this time. Good God. Oh, thank you, Jesus. We can type in PowerShell. That was a thing last night. Couldn't hit PowerShell for nothing. Command worked. Everything worked except PowerShell. Could not send a freaking letter to PowerShell. Could send all the special characters I wanted to. but nothing A through Z. So let's do a run as, crap, what's the run as? Do we have that in our history? What? Yeah, here we go. So it's net only, dev, cyberbiotic IO, bfarmer, and we're going to run PowerShell. Perfect. Kitty farts. Now, it doesn't matter what password I put in there, because now what's going to happen is this is going to assume kind of like the role of bfarmer, and then we're going to go request a TGT over this. Well seasoned. That's right, man. Just like my smoker. Although actually, that's a really new smoker. I just finally got it. It was on sale on Woot, and everybody said it's built like a tank. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll bite the bullet. All right. So now that we've got that, let's do a little bit something else. Let's run our PowerShell AMC bypass. So we're going to go to payloads, run AMC bypass.ps1. There we go. So now we should be bypassed. We can use our different tools in here that we want to. So let's pull up Rubius. So we've already done this before, right? Except this was for this particular service. Here was the ticket. Yeah, and this is actually what we want to use. This is the command, but trying to dress it up in here is going to be a pain in the ass. Let's take this. We're going to copy that. We're going to prep another command for it. There we go. And what we can do is, let's come over to our notes. We should have, for bfarmer, we should have like an AES 256 in here. We have it for jking, but we need it for bfarmer. Crap, where was this? Hang on one second. Stand by. Because this is important to know, because I wanted to remember where we got this from. I know we got it from Workstation 2, because that's where jking had her session. NTLM hash, is this it? Nope, that's not it. One of these options that we got actually gave us the, so it's not that one either. Maybe it's Kerberos encryption keys? That's it. Okay. Here's what we want to do. Let's run this. So we are going to use Mimikatz to get this. Typically, I would avoid using Mimikatz, but for simplicity's sake, I'm going to do it. No, I'm nobody without a handle. Dude, Joey, one more dude, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. When we hit a certain milestone, we'll see if we can do like a hackers watch along party on the Discord. Just because that would be fun. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I was sad I missed like the 25th anniversary or whatever they just had a couple years ago. It was so good. Let's grab this real fast here. I'm going to snooze the ads. There we go. All right, so what we want to do is here on Workstation 2. This is where we want to do this. So we're going to run Mimikatz. I'm going to tell it use an elevated prompt, which you shouldn't have to. I'm going to try it actually without it because we're already running a system. We're God mode on the box. So it's Sakurlasa. We tell it the E keys, which is encryption keys. Have to wear the red dress. Let's see. Uh-oh. Did we get squashed? Looks like we might have got squashed on Workstation 2. Go look real quick. Yeah, so here's Workstation 2. Let's check our virus logs. So this is interesting because our PowerShell one doesn't get squashed, hardly it ever. The DNS executable gets squashed to hell. So it's 1:37 a.m. on the box. Let's see. Let's look at our protection history. Actually, no. So we didn't get squashed. It tried to submit a sample when we did that. And then sample submission is blocked right now, so it couldn't send that. What time is it? 4:22 at 1:06 a.m. What what this one was. Oh, console history. Yeah, you're not. Oh, we did get it. Okay. It just took it a minute. Nice. All right, so we get a lot of verbose output here, but what we want is to see. Here we go. So this is a known error right here. It's yeah, it says des cbc md4. This is actually his AES 256 in here. And if you look, these two numbers match exactly. Right here. This one and this one. So it's because those keys get stored multiple times in LSA, and this is just dumping LSA out of here. So if you look right, if I can get it. Here we go. So this is like this, I think the location in LSA where it was, and these are different locations. But that's because those things are supposed to be segregated out, right? So it doesn't just keep one copy for all these different processes to reference. It keeps them so it says a little bit different in here. But let's do this. Let's grab this. Because we, for some reason, every time we wanted to do like for an ask TGT with the NTLM hash, it always flipped shit. But if we did it with the AES 256, it worked. So I'm going to get this just as a backup here real quick. There we go. So now we'll have a copy of Bob's AES 256. Let's go ahead and copy that, just so we know what it is. This is just a visual bug in here. And this is Bob's, actually his NTLM hash right here. Badass. Okay, so now, so where we're at is we have PowerShell running here as bfarmer. I want to see, actually, we're pretty sure we can run this local. So let's run payloads, MC bypass. Cool. So it ran that. Not a problem. And then let's run Rubius. So we'll go to, wait, we already copied the Rubius command. We put it over here? Yes, we did. So this is asking for a TGS, but we also going to need to ask for a TGT. So remember, the first stage, get your TGT. The ticket granting ticket proves who you are. The TGS then says, hey, I'm presenting my TGT to show who I am, and I would like access to this service over there. So then you get a ticket granting service ticket. Lets you get access to the service. In this case, it's going to be the MS SQL service. Apollo, I got no freaking clue what the typing bug was, man, but it's working now. I had to IT crowd it. I had to turn it off and on again. One of my favorite examples of messing with Kerberos stuff and demonstrating how much the system trusts what's in like a TGS is I had I did an example in the class for Black Hat where you get a golden ticket, and then you write your own, and it basically makes you like a domain admin, an enterprise admin, all the high class roles. But then your username is Batman. And so when you go wmyexec into something, you say, who am I? It says Batman. It's not presented to the CA. It's presented to the KDC, the Key Distribution Controller service. But in Active Directory, that's the domain controller. Yeah. Let me see if I still have that up, actually. I don't. Hang on one sec. That's not what I was looking for. I don't have it up real quick. But Yeah, so quick refresher here. So for Kerberos, right? So you're going to have, let's say, a PC, and then you're going to have the KDC, which is really the domain controller, right? And then you're going to have the server that you want to hit. So the first phase is talking to here to get the TGT, the ticket granting ticket. Yeah. And then second phase is actually still between the KDC and this. This is two. This is to get the TGS. So TGT is who am I? The TGS is what I'm accessing. The last and final phase, actually, there's technically 4 phases, but mostly the 4th phase is optional and it's not enabled by default. But the last thing is just presenting the TGS right here to get access. That's it. So if you can compromise stage 1 here, you can impersonate the user, right? If you can compromise stage 2, you can impersonate the user to a specific service somewhere in the network. All right, cool. So we ran our empty bypass. Let's get, what we need to do is we need to do because this is asking for a, go back. This is asking for a TGS. We need to do, there should be a command probably in our history for asking for a TGT. And that will just make it simple to, yeah, here we go. Let's do ask TGT. Ah, here we go. Yeah, because I think this is the way we tried to do it. Yeah, we did as TGT as bfarmer. And I just realized y'all probably can't read this. Let me blow this up a bit. Enhance. There we go. So we did ask for a TGT against bfarmer, and we gave it his NTLM hash. And also we told it what domain controller to do this for. Now we got to do one more thing in here. And that is, we need to go set up a SOX proxy. Actually, there's 2 things we need to do. Because we're doing this from Windows. We're going to pull up Proxifier. Dude, this lemon and lime flavor of Jocko drinks is legit. I like it. All right, is Proxifier up? Nice. Let's double check our rules real quick. Profile, proxy servers. Yep. So we've got this. So we need to boot up our 1081 version. The password was like Frank or something. So let's do that. Ow. So let's do that. So let's do SOX. I think it's 1081 SOX 5. Crap, I don't remember what the syntax is. Where is it? That's it. Yeah, I was close. So SOX 1081. That's the port. We want SOX, the actual keyword, SOX 5. And then disable no auth. There we go. And then the user is Bob, password is Frank. Oh. All right, so now we've got that 1081 beacon listening. Let's set these to slightly interactive. So we'll be able to see these. And actually, let's close out. We want this one to stay up. Which one is this? This is 5348. Yeah, that's a DNS. Actually, I take that back. We don't want to run that here. I just realized we're running over a DNS proxy. Doing this over the DNS beacon will be slow as shit. So we're going to tell it to stop the SOX proxy. I'm going to copy this command, and we're going to spawn us a HTTP beacon to do it. There. Let's go ahead and spawn us an HTTP beacon. Except we can't. We can from here, though. This one will be easy to do. So let's go ahead and spawn x64 HTTP. And the reason I didn't want to do it from the system one is because on system, we aren't allowed to connect through the proxy back, right? So we're going to spawn an HTTP beacon. We'll have this call back. We'll establish that this is a much more interactive beacon to use. Yeah, this should be the correct one. This is 9004, 9000. Yep, here we go. All right, so this one, we have to give it just a second here, but we're going to set the sleep to 0. I'll stick to my coffee with hazelnut creamer. Wife is too jumpy. I'm 6'2", and she always turns around and gasps because she says I'm too quiet. My wife does that to me. She's like a ninja. And it's real bad sometimes because, like, used to be I'd be working late, and I have this thing where I just like to watch ghost videos on YouTube. They don't take a lot of brain power, and I think they're creepy cool, and I'll watch them while I'm working. Like, I'll just have it off to the side for noise, right? And I'll be sitting here just working away, focused on stuff, and she'll come up behind me, and I'll just feel this hand. I just... There's been so many times I've just been like, go for a walk now. This little soft hand just, yeah. And she's like, I was making noise. I wasn't even being quiet. I was like, I've got headphones on, woman. That'd be creepy as hell. Turn my phone off. It's bugging me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This one went interactive and promptly died. That is unfortunate. So it probably got squashed. Let's go look at it. Workstation 2. So it's 1:49 a.m. on the box. Yeah, threat blocked. And it's probably doing a behavioral analysis on here. Yep. Is that the same behavioral ID we saw? It's so interesting that that causes it. Because we spawned that from this one, which is running DNS, right? So this is running DNS exe. Here's Workstation 2 PowerShell DNS as bfarmer. If I do the same thing, spawn x64 HTTP, and then as soon as that calls back, I'm going to set it to sleep 0. And this one's not going to die. And I don't know why. I don't know why in PowerShell, like if PowerShell's the initiator in the parent process, it says, yeah, that's fine. All right, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to see if it dies. Sleep 0. I'm going to wait a minute just to check this out. Nope. There was some stupid video, and I know it was like a little YouTube short, and it was like some of the weird like relationship questions. That's what it was making fun of, and the woman was like, honey, would you still love me if I was a tapeworm? Like, no. I would not still love you if you were a tapeworm. I'll tell you this game, the one thing I do like about the Jocko drinks is they actually don't have a ton of caffeine in them. So I will burn through that Jocko drink during the stream, and it's not going to affect my sleep at night when I go to bed. Although if I had a nice cup of coffee, yeah, I'd still be wired come end of stream. Yeah, look at this. Okay, check this one out. This one's still fine. This one spawned from PowerShell. And it's working just fine. This one, however, is like, oh no, you're malicious. Fuck. Alright, let's remove that. Alright, so this is the one where we actually want to run our SOCKS proxy. Because if we try to do the SOCKS proxy over DNS, we're just in for a world of hurt. Alright, so that's up and running now. And we should have our rules also applied in here. So let's go to proxy. Look at our proxification rules. So anything going to the 10 networks that we've discovered or to the cyberbotic IO domain is going to be put through there. Nice. Proxifier is a hella cool tool. just minimize that. I'm still sleeping on the couch for the top of head being sexiest part of the body comment. Oh god. Oh, it's funny. So it's funny because I send all of my my buddy. Bro, hang on one sec, y'all. I had to message my bro. He's like, "Hey, you want to play Helldivers?" I'm like, "No, I can't right now. Why you always ask me this stuff when I'm busy?" There we go. Jeez. But yeah, so I got a buddy that I send him all the dankest of memes, but his wife I only send like the wholesome memes. And so it's so funny because they both have these very disparate views of me. Because I don't send the wholesome memes to my bro. No, I send him all the dank memes. I send her all the wholesome memes. Hey, Monk, what's up, dude? No, that's fine. It always pops up like here, right? And I'm just like, I would love to go spread democracy with you, but this SQL servers ain't gonna pwn themselves. All right, let's see here. So now, what we can do? Let's go grab. Okay, so we have our ask TG, our TGS one, but we need to grab the ask TGT command. Here we go. Let's grab this. Actually, I'm going to try it just as it is, because that is Bob's NTLM hash. I recognize it, because we've used it so much. Let's just give that bitch a shot. That's it. Hold on. We're going to restage this command, so just in case we need it. There we go. Yeah, so we're going to ask for the TGT. Let's come over to Bob's process. And because we've MC bypassed already, Rubius should run just fine and not get flagged by Defender. They won't till Skynet goes active, and then we'll take over all the pwning. Yeah, no kidding. Right. Actually, we joke about that, but check this out. I love doing some of the AI research when I can. There was a tool called Devin. It was supposed to be the world's first AI software engineer, right? And it was supposed to go through and like, it was supposed to go through and do stuff like, you give it tasks to do, and it would generate code and do tests, and you can iterate through it. It was really cool. Well, Devin was actually already reproduced. Like, they were going to charge a buttload for this. So some guy's like, hey, guess what? We can just do that and make it open source. So these guys went and made Open Devin. So if you like working with AI stuff, now the kicker here is, you're going to be using something like ChatGPT or Olama or like Llama on the back end. Yeah. Hey Siri, run a SQL injection attack. But this is actually pretty cool. I want to start messing with this sometime too, whenever I get a little bit more dev time. Because I just want to see what it does. I want to see how it operates, what's going on with it. And I've been doing all these running local models. So what that means is I'm actually running them on my hash cracking server, which has a ton of GPU RAM. Because that's actually the kicker. You don't need a ton of processing power unless you're training models. If you're just running models, you really need a lot of RAM going on there. And spread across 8 cards, Cthulhu has like 128 gigs of video, 128 gigs of video RAM. So I can run up to a combination of models that sum up to about 120 billion parameters. So if you ever see a model listed, like for example, go to Hugging Face. So if we go to Hugging Face and we just look at something real quick. You can borrow your Lenovo. So actually, a lot of these models, you can run them in CPU mode also, and they'll use system RAM. And in fact, I was actually really surprised. I ran a 7 billion model on my MacBook, and it actually ran really well. Here we go. See how these are like Llama 3 8B, Llama 3 70B, 70B. So this B is how many billions of parameters it's running. So if you think about it, that basically each of those parameters is an integer that it's going to use in its integer math as it's processing data through the neural network. So each of those B's there is essentially a byte of memory you're going to need to have. So you need 70 gigs of virtual RAM to run this. You need 8 to run this. So just FYI, if you ever want to start messing with these, you can. You have the ability if you have the hardware. Like if you've got a graphics card with 12 gigs of RAM in it, you could run some of these. You don't want to be running anything else. Otherwise, you're going to just exhaust your RAM and your card's going to run really slow. But yeah, these are all sorts of fun tools you can do. I'm all about the democratization of AI, because if we're either going to accelerate this thing and we're going to create Skynet really fast to just wipe everything out, or we're going to come up with defenses to Skynet. What? Let's copy this real quick. Keep going off on tangents. So let's get the TGT here. And now we should just have to insert this right here. So I'm going to drop in the ticket. And actually, I'm going to take this ticket and throw it at the very end. Because if we need to swap it out, it's going to be a little bit scalable that way. There we go. And now this should take this. If we look at the command, right? Let me bring it up a little bit. We asked for the TGT, so we can prove that we're Bob Farmer. Then we're going to ask for the TGS to the MySQL service running on port 1433 on SQL 2. We tell it what domain controller to use. Now, one kicker that we did is this actually, we don't have these DNS resolutions, so we put them in the host file of the machine. We told in the etc host file of our Windows box here, system32 drivers etc host, whatever it is. We put that in there so to point to it. And then we're going to tell it to automatically pass that ticket into our process. So let's go ahead and run this now. Let's full send this bitch. This is the thing I was avoiding doing the other night, but we'll be able to use Heidi SQL then. There we go. So now, if we try to go and run tools, Heidi SQL, I think it's Heidi SQL.exe. So we're running this as Bob on the machine, right? Yeah, what is that somebody found out how to use more of the light spectrum across fiber? That's crazy. All right, so we're going to use Windows authentication. We're going to connect to SQL 2. Let's open this. Yeah, sure, whatever. Ta-da! All right, sweet. This is going to make it a little bit easier for us to interact with the server. We could go through and have done this also, but this isn't just another way to do this. What's so badass about this method is if we need to go through and run some graphical tool in Windows for whatever reason, this is a way we can do that, right? Hold on, let's document this process a little bit because it's fucking legit. So if we have a user hash, and this could be NTLM or AES 256. And I believe SHA-1 will also work with this. We can get a TGT and then a TGS to access whatever they've got access to. So with these two things, we can spawn a net process. And then we can pass the ticket into that process. And then all we have to do is just call executables. And then over the network, it will act as that user. 40 terabytes a second. Damn. That's a big jump, man. Because I mean, there were ways to squeeze, I think, 10 gig through fiber, so I think that quadruples it. That's badass, dude. Anyway, so now that we are actually where we need it to be, let's look at our lateral movement. So let's do another select. Actually, let's just do a test select statement here real fast. Run this query. Cool. So we are SQL 2. So let's make a new query here. So we're going to look at, we're going to tell it to select. I don't know if I can make this any bigger. Let me see here. That's what she said. Let's see. Is there a preferences window? Zoom in. Oh, wait, I can zoom in. Yes. Let's just blow this up full screen then. There we go. Hell yeah. Now you'll be able to read it. All right, so we're going to do a select statement. We're going to get the server name, the server product, and the RPC out value from master sys servers. Did I spell that right? Yeah. That should be it. And let's go ahead and run this query. There we go. So look at this. So SQL 2 and SQL, we can, these basically what it's telling us is that these two servers are linked right here. Oh. Another way we could do this, hold on, let's go, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, y'all. Let's get some notes going. Why? Because notes make us reports. Reports get us paid. I like to get paid. When they ask you during an interview and they say, why would you like to work here? You always just tell them, I understand you'll exchange expertise for money. I don't care. Oh, wait. Yeah, exactly. That's going to be, that's a lot of really fast prom there. Let's see here. So let's do, did we talk, I don't think we even started up notes for lateral movement, did we? No, just code execution. Yeah. That's command execution methods. Let's, so we'll mix a new note section here for lateral movement. Wait, lateral only has one T. So lateral movement. And then we're gonna do one in here, do some recon. And let's tell this is our raw SQL query. And then let's go copy that real fast. Put this into our notes so we know what we did. And then the other way doing SQL recon. Because there's a way for us to do this in SQL recon too, which is funny actually now because we don't actually have to go run this if you think about it externally. We could run it from Bob's shell right here. So let's CD over into tools. There we go. Let's do this. Let's blow this up to full screen. There we go. All right, so here in our tools section, we can run just SQL recon, SQL recon, and this one actually had it triple nested. SQL recon, bin, release. Yo, dog, I heard you like SQL recon. So I'll put some SQL recon in your SQL recon. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to tell it, we're going to run this. We want the authorization to be the win token because we've already set that up in here. Actually, I'll be curious to see if this works. It should work because we have, it's not going to be using like the NTLM hash. I'm pretty sure it's going to be using the Kerberos ticket. So we'll find out. If this doesn't work, then we can always do an execute assembly on the beacon to get this to run. So we'll do sql2.dev. Gotta tell this right. Cyberbotic.io. And then we got to give it also the port, so 1433. And then we want to tell it to run the module of links, so we can have it retrieve what links are on there. Hey, there we go. That's much cleaner. So this is saying that SQL 1 is running SQL Server. The provider is the SQL in CLI, whatever that is. And the data source is SQL 1. Okay. So it's a little bit different output because this one is showing, we see SQL 2 with an RPC out, but we are SQL 2, and then we see SQL 1. So this one provides a slightly different amount of information to it. All right. But it's cool to be able to see that we can just run this shit locally, right? Because it's so much easier. Then you don't have to worry about zipping those damn binaries using execute assembly across the network. You can just do it with the SOX proxy. Now, there's different benefits and drawbacks to that, right? The SOX proxy has to be done typically over an interactive session, which is much more noisier. But trying to do execute assembly over something with a long draw time could also be a pain in the ass. Let's do something here. I'm actually going to... Yeah, I'm just going to do it this way. We'll copy that. So this is what I was looking for, right? I figured we were going to use the SQL server to pivot over into the parent domain, right? We're in a subdomain, dev. We're going to get into SQL, the cyberrobotic.io domain. Nice. Let's see, there's another query we can run here. We'll do... So we'll do select star from open query. And we're going to tell it to query SQL SQL tag1 cyberrobotic, no dev, .io. And we're going to tell it to do a select edit server name. So basically, we're going to send this over. We're going to tell it, hey, using the query, send open or select the server name to this guy. All right, should be good. Send it. Oh, you know what? This needs to be single quote. That's what's up. Because we want to make sure this is not like an interpreted string. We want it to be an explicit string. Nice. Awesome. So like if we wanted to check and see, does SQL 1 have XP command shell up, right? Let's go check our notes on that. Let's see. That is doing SQL recon. That's, here we go. I tell you what, I need to go get my water. I gotta go check on the dog because she's still in the backyard. So we'll take like a 2-minute break. Be right back, everyone. back, y'all. Oh, so SQL in CLI is the SQL native client. Okay. CLI is not what I think of when I think of client. Let's see. There we go. I think this is what we want right here. Let's see if we can run this across it. Now, it'd be interesting to see how we need to do this, right? Like, do I need to triple this? I think that's right. I don't know. We'll send it. Okay, cool. So that did work. So we had a little bit of a formatting issue here, right? Because our command statement is in single quotes, right? So, and we needed to pass this XP command shell value in single quotes also. So if you just double the single quotes, it worked. Cool. And we see XP command shell is not enabled, but we probably have the ability to run shit on there. All right, cool. Badass. I'm going to use this as an example in the notes. Throw this down here. And the SQL recon way of doing this is we just send it an L query, a link query, yeah. There we go. So rather than module links, what we tell it is, we double check syntax here. Yeah, we tell it module L query. And the link that we do is SQL1 dot SQL tac1 dot cyberbottic.io. Yes, that should be it. And the command we're going to run is going to be, we'll do that same one, select add answer. Yeah, it should be good there. Let's try this. We might have to go make an adjustment to, let me bring this up. Again. There we go. Now you can see the command. So we're accessing this by DNS name, the SQL1. We haven't put that in the Etsy, our host list, so we might have to go update that. Oh, we don't. Nice. All right, cool. So we could do that same thing over here. We can throw our query in. Let's go grab it out of HiDSQL. We'll just take out that one extra one. Let's go throw that sucker in here. Take out the extra single quote. Send it. Maybe we need to, no, maybe we need to do it the same way. Let's try that. What if we do, we'll just double those up, see if it works. Invalid syntax near XP command shell. So select server name worked. Let's try something here. What if I backslash escape this? Actually, I tell you what, before I do that, I'm going to backslash escape this. See what happens. That's so weird. Incorrect syntax near XP command shell. That's not incorrect though. We'll do it this way. Interesting. Statements could not be prepared. That's so weird. Because that same syntax worked in there. All right, we'll just use this as our example for that. I want to know why that particular one's not working. Let's see. All right, cool. Oh, did I not try that combination? Hang on, I just realized I might be a dummy here. Yeah, I just realized we might have to actually double this up. Hey, there we go. This is the actual command I wanted. That's what we wanted. Now we can see that, okay, so XP command shell is not enabled on it. Perfect. Awesome. So this is how we would run it. We had to structure it as select value from. We had to double single quote it and then wrap it inside a double quote. Perfect. Nice. All right, let's do this. So once we get that, okay, so if the XP command shell is disabled, you won't be able to enable it by executing the spconfig from OpenQuery. So if RPC out is enabled on the link, which is not default, then you can enable it by using this syntax. Okay. Let's take a look at this real quick. So here's the command we're going to be doing. Let's just take a look at it real fast here. So there's two commands we're going to be doing here. So we'll tell it to exec spconfigure show advanced options 1 reconfigure. Okay. So in this exec one, it looks like what we're doing here is we're just setting, instead of a space, wait, no, this has a space in it. Interesting. So we're telling it which one to take right here. Man, I wish I understood more about SQL servers. But wait, let's give this a shot, actually. Because it makes sense what's happening here. It's just understanding the formatting of this command, right? I bet there's an easier way to do this with SQL Recon, but let's go do it here with Heidi SQL first. Yeah, so we're... What if this will give us any information on the exec command? No, it doesn't look like it. All right, let's try that real quick. Did that give us back anything? No, we can go check our... We'll run our query again to check it. Let's do that. All right, cool. So now it's showing value 1. Thanks. I've slept through most of my SQL classes. You want a good nap? Put on a YouTube video on SQL applications and database development. Database development is actually pretty cool. Just because like I understand like the idea of building out the data models is really neat, but the process of doing it is damn laborious sometimes. Because I was kind of heading down that path a little bit, very briefly, and I liked the idea of like developing some stuff. I just didn't want to be a database guy. It didn't excite me. If you enjoy databases, I am so happy for you because that means I don't have to do them. You can do them. So one other thing we can also do is we can actually go query. We can go query SQL 1, since we can run commands on it, and have it tell us if it has any links to it. Let's go try that. Oh god, what did I do? Stand by. I have no idea what I just did. I just shrank everything all of a sudden. Everything just went. That's not the one I wanted. There we go. Don't go into the light. Oh, damn. All right, cool. Now we're back. I don't know what I must have hit Windows D for desktop mode. It'll crash down all of the windows, but I don't know how I hit it. Yeah, Kaiju, here I'll show you. This is animated cyberpunk Tron sunset wallpaper that I've got. And so it's a neat little program on Steam called Wallpaper Engine, and that's what projects that image. Let's see here. All right, cool. So now, check for those remote links. Let's take a look here. Because what we want to do is we want to run that same command against our linked system. So to check for this, here we go. So let's run this query. Let's copy that. I'm going to throw this in Heidi SQL. And then we're going to insert that into our other command for getting the remote execution. Here we go. So this, copy it. Let's bring it over. Oh, that's the wrong one. Very cool. And then we're going to bring this up here, and then we should just have to close it. And let's send it. So we're running the same command we saw to get like what links were available. We're just sending it this time to SQL 1. Okay, so RPC out is true in this case. So let's do something real fast. I haven't run both commands. I want to see what happens. Okay, so they do both have RPC out. Now this RPC out config, this is what we were talking about, is not on by default. You'd have to enable it. But if it is enabled, that's something cool we can do. Dude, I like Wallpaper Engine. It's pretty fun. I've actually thought about uninstalling it just because I usually have my windows like completely covered and I don't even get to see the fun animated backgrounds anymore. So I thought about ditching it, but I was like, it doesn't even take a lot of video card processing. All right, let's see here. Don't need that. So let's do. So this is interesting because we were able to query this from our remote box, right? Let's make a note of that fast. That's just for checking for remote links. And let's go do. Actually, we need to move this up here. Let's reorganize our notes a little bit. There we go. This way we'll remember, this is for looking for links. This is actually looking for like code execution, XP command shell stuff. We're just kind of logically grouping those. All right, let's go do the SQL recon method now. So if we bring this up. So we're going to change our query again. I think we did links the first time. think that was what we did. Yeah. Okay, so then if we modify this, we do links, right? So tell it to run it over the link, and we tell it what the link is. So the link is SQL tac1.cyberbotic.io. No results. Okay, that's what we expected.
User NOTWAX is online.
NOTWAX, that's right. What's up, man? Thanks for coming online, dude. We were just having some fun hacking on Microsoft SQL. Oh, really, Kaiju? I didn't know that. Well, actually, I should know that because Samsung's been doing that for a long time. My first Android phone was a Samsung, and it had like a really cool looking animated background. I still haven't used that. That's alert is it's the follow alert. So when you're coming online, that's because somebody followed. Yep. All right. Let's see here. Okay, cool. So what this is telling us here, this was running against SQL 2, right? We told it list the links out. We see the link to SQL 1. And then we checked it again using the... Crap, what does the L stand for? It's like do something over a linked query. And we told it to link that to SQL 1. Cyberbotic, there's no additional one. So if there had been like another SQL server in here, we could have potentially found another link to bounce through. We're just looking at different ways we can abuse the SQL server. And this is important to know because when you're doing a red team operation, part of your primary objective might be exfilling critical data, right? So you're going to need to know how to maybe pivot through these SQL servers to get to the one that you want. Maybe they're connected, but they don't actually all have the right amount of data. In this case, we're looking at how can we use it to pivot, right? So maybe, you've got your SQL servers kind of segregated into a child domain, but then you've also got them linked so they can pull data from a parent domain or just some other domain. Well, then we can kind of jump over into the other domain by using these link commands. Oh, cool. There's actually a neat tool we can use for this. Let's import this. Where does this come from? Probably from the... we had a SQL PowerShell database, PowerShell tool. Let's look at that. Where was that? That was in Tools. I think it was Power SQL. Yeah, Power Up SQL. Let's run that. So let's do Power Up SQL. Yep, let's run that. And then we're going to do get tag SQL. We should just be able to run that, right? Or do I need to... Actually, I think we need to import it. Import module. Yeah, that's it. So do import module. I think we actually want to run the PSM one. So the names of some imported commands from the module PowerUp SQL include unapproved verbs that might make them less discoverable. To find the commands with unapproved verbs, run import module again with the verbose parameter. All right. I don't care if it does that. I just want to know if the get SQL server. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one called link crawl. There we go. And we're going to give it what the instance is. So our instance is sql2.dev.cyberbotic.io. Oh, we need to specify the port too, 1433. There we go. So we got two 2019 servers running. We have SQL 2, and that's linked to SQL 1. Cool. As the user SA, so very handy. Nice. That's handy to know. And so, like I said, Kaiju, what I was telling about, if you had SQL servers in disparate domains, but they're all linked, you can potentially pivot between them. They have to have that RPC out ability enabled.
Caution. A virus has been detected.
World is raiding. What's up, dude?
Detected in the network.
What's up, man? I'm gonna send the Cookie Monster virus. Protect the network. Doing great, man. Had a really good day. Got to spend it with the kiddos. We played outside for a bit. I smoked some ribs in the smoker, and now we're hacking stuff. It's a good day. What were you up to? What were you working on tonight?
User Nachu_flight task is online.
Not your latest. What's up, man? Thanks for coming online. Oh, that's right. You were working on that Godot game. Nice. Dude, Godot looks really fun, actually. I had an idea for a reconnaissance tool I wanted to build, and I actually have been considering, from watching Pirate Software and some of his stuff, and drawing inspiration from Greyhack and Night Team 4, I've been considering, once I get all the server infrastructure done, actually building a front-end UI in a game engine. So Godot has crossed my mind, but also I think Unreal is what... I think it's Unreal that is that Greyhack is written in. So I thought that might be kind of funny. So actually, I'm gonna go probably look at. I'm gonna do it just like it's a game project, right? I'm gonna gamify it a bit and say like, okay, cool. So what are the requirements? What languages? Which libraries meet that requirement, and then what languages we're gonna work on with that. Godot has astounding UI tools, and you can bind pretty much any language you like beyond... Oh, nice! So if I could do C#, Ballmancer, that actually might be really legit to do. And here's why. A lot of these hacking tools we're using are written in C#. So if we can interact with that, be able to get a little bit better interaction with it, then that actually might be really legit. I cannot wait. I have to keep my shiny thing syndrome in check, though. So I'm thinking about this for the future. But right now, my primary objective, finish the RTO and the RTO2 curriculum. But I'm thinking about it. It's planning. It's percolating in the back. So a few months back, I was making a task manager / organizer in Godot. It was ridiculously 80s with music and awesomeness. I had originally considered making it a web interface, because this guy made NES CSS. Look at this. This just makes me happy. I love everything about this. So it's all like NES themed CSS. So right there, confirm. I love it. Being able to use different languages for Godot is so nice. I've been trying out Rust in Godot recently, and it's really nice. Rust is another thing on the learning path for me. I like the idea of Rust, but in reality, I think after we finish up RTO2, we'll probably start hitting some more of the malware development stuff. That's going to be a little bit different on the streaming side. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. I've been talking to the guys from Maldev Academy, trying to kind of understand this a little bit. And how we're going to kind of do this. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I just haven't quite figured out how yet. So I'm thinking right now, and this probably changes every time, but really RTO 1 and 2, we're doing RTO 1 now. We're going to knock out RTO 2 after this. That's going to last us quite a bit of time. But then we'll probably start digging into the malware stuff. And all that's done in C. Like a lot of the legit malware development is done in C. And so there's just really no way to get around that. C and assembly. So how to make those interesting and explanatory on stream will be very difficult, especially for assembly. So I'm thinking very hard about how I'm going to do that. Let's see. That's right, we're going to run SQL recon. Let's do this. Let's change our module here. So we're going to do L, who am I? And then we're going to tell it who linked. So it's using the linked version of it. Remember, so there's an I version of all the commands for SQL recon and an L version. So the I version is you're impersonating. You're telling it to do it the impersonated version. And then the L version is you're telling it to do it over a link. So we'll tell this to link on SQL TAC1. Gotta lose my type preview. There. SQL1.cyberrobotic.io. This run. Okay, cool. So you can see we've got access as the SA user, which we saw in the other output. Steve's great for smashing the stack for fun and profit. No kidding, man. And actually, I think that's what we were talking about earlier. I'm not 100% if we're going to do, after RTO, if we're going to take it into exploit development or we're going to go into malware development. Because I actually really did enjoy exploit development. I had an idea to do like a series of blogs, which I call Pwn by Numbers. Like, play on paint by numbers. And what we'll do is we'll go look at some of these end-day exploits, and then we'll start working on it. Like, for example, the Jenkins exploit that just came out, right? Go and take a look and say, okay, what can we do to have discovered this? That's a little bit different because it's largely a web-based exploit with a tiny bit of binary manipulation. But doing that for buffer exploits would be really cool. And also the technology that you have to incorporate for these is really crazy. Just realized something. Is my okay? Ooh, the stream manager over on Twitch said I was offline for a second. I was getting creeped out. All right, nice. Let's see. So we are running as SA. Very nice. I need you to read this book and write 3 essays. See, I read this book. And then I wrote my essay Jose, and my essay Juan, and my essay Fernando, and I gave them a synopsis. Sorry, that's a bad South Park joke. So let's see what we can do to execute a beacon on SQL 1. It should be the similar process to what we did on SQL 2. So how did we do that on SQL 2? Let's take a look at that, and then let's extrapolate out from there. So we already enabled XP command shell. We did that. And we cried because nobody had fish. I can't believe how long South Park's been on, dude. That shit came out when I was in middle school. I remember watching the first episode of South Park. Alright, where do we actually get our beacon? Let's see, was this it? No, that was us just doing testing command execution. Okay, so we could have done that. We could have impersonated the account and done it that way. We've already got it enabled though. Don't tell me we didn't take notes on how we did the PowerShell command. I would feel like a dummy if we did that. Let's do something real quick, actually. So do we have... Okay, so we're only on workstations 1 and 2. Because we had backdoors in the GPO that gave us access to these two, plus some other stuff in there. You and me both, gamer, bro. I know it's hard to see, but hold on. I got the gray and the beard to show it, man. I used to have hair up here. Just all moved south. All right, before we dig into this, so what we're going to do next, we're going to get us a beacon on SQL 2. We're going to connect over to it because we did this last time. We did it with SMB. We're going to connect over to SQL 2. We're probably going to do it over TCP though instead of SMB because if we want to do SMB hacks, we need to have it over TCP. So we'll get ourselves a TCP beacon that we can pivot over into SQL 2. And then we're going to do the same thing but to SQL 1 because we know SQL 1 and 2 have to have connectivity to each other. So that's what we're going to do in just a second. I got to go run and do something real fast. So we'll be right back. All right, y'all, I'm back. I try to time those little dashes away for whenever the ads are coming up, so that way nobody's missing anything. But I do have to show y'all this. Hang on. There she is. There's Panda. Vito Panda. Got a cable in the way. There we go. That's Panda, my hacking sidekick dog. She's very happy because she got a lot of rib bones from the ribs I smoked. So she's very contented and happy right now. All right. We'll leave her up there in the corner for now. All right. So the paint by numbers approach seems really good in a way to make it accessible because those exploits seem like a mystery black box to me. And the Smashing the Stack for Fun and Profit is a really good article for understanding buffer overflows. Yeah. Actually, so I've done buffer overflows the very first time I took the OSCP in 2010. And I really enjoyed it. Now, granted, this was stuff where like you weren't doing a lot of ASLR bypasses. There weren't like a lot of stack protections. It was Windows XP, right? And what binary exploit mitigations it had were disabled. So I'd really like to do some more of like the more advanced local stuff where like you're having to actually do ROPs and things. So the OffSec exploit development course is actually really good. There's also one from SANS. So the SANS course is actually really legit on that. The guy who runs it has this YouTube channel, off by one security. This guy right here. So if anybody wants to watch it, he does like basically a live show every Friday where he's doing some kind of hacking topic. I really like him. He is hella smart and he does some really cool stuff on here. So check him out. But he's one of the guys that helped create the more advanced exploit development courses for SANS. And I only recommend doing a SANS course if two things have happened. One, you're a trust fund baby. If you're a trustafarian, go ahead and go take a SANS course. Or two, you're getting your company to pay for it. 2.5 is if you're going to be doing like proctoring or TAing, something where you can help out and get it at a very reduced rate. Then, yeah, it's justifiable at that. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and get our TCP beacon over on SQL 1 first. So let's get that going. So what we need to do here is, let's go modify this real fast. So last time we did this with an SMB beacon, but we don't want to do SMB. We want to do TCP. So let's check also, actually, before we go modifying this statement here, let's see what we've got hosted up on our, let's see what we've got hosted. So we've got HTTP, A is a scripted web delivery PowerShell. We got our bypass, and we got DNS and SMB. Let's do one more in here. Let's do a TCP as PowerShell, because for some reason the PowerShell seemed to not get squashed as much, which I was not expecting that. So let's host a new file. The file we're going to do is in our payloads directory. So we'll go to payloads, and we're going to do TCP 64 PS1. There we go. And we're just going to call this TCP. Actually, check that. We need to go look at our listeners, because we have multiple TCP listeners here. So in our TCP listeners, yeah, see, we don't want to do TCP. Oh, no, we do. TCP listens on all interfaces. TCP local was only on 127.0.0.1. Then we had a third one here for in case we needed to do a UAC bypass. So we want to do we want to host the TCP local payload in there. Oh no, sorry, not the local, the regular TCP one. That's the one we want to host. So let's host a file, and we're going to do TCP x64 PS1, and we're just going to make it as TCP here. Cool. So what this does is this uploads it to our team server. Do we already have TCP up? Oh, we do. Oh, because it's our TCP x64 exe. No, let's kill that. And then let's do it the way we just had it in here. Because for some reason, the executables seem to get flagged a lot more than the PowerShell. So let's post up the PowerShell version. And plus, it will work better with our download exec cradle that we've got already built out. We just need to change the name then. So let's set this to TCP. Launch that. Good. Now we can build out our command we're going to execute, which would be this one right here. And let's change this. So we're going to take this from SMB to TCP. And we want to make sure we've done something here. This is pointing to workstation 2. Right? Let's double check workstation 2. Actually, on workstation 2, we're going to connect to our system shell backdoor. Does that connect? Let's see. No, it didn't connect. Could not connect to target. Interesting. I wonder why that failed. It's fine, because what we can do is actually we can use this one, this workstation. Actually, no, that's workstation 1. We want workstation 2. All right, we got too many tabs open. These tabs need to die. Go away now. Away, go away. Things are getting entirely too cluttered. Go. Let's go over here. Let's go to Workstation 2 System Shell. And this is fine that it's working over DNS because we can still do the same thing here. Actually, I guess not. Let's see here. If we can do it, I'm pretty sure we can do this over Bob right here. Let's see if we can do the R port forward. So R port forward. Actually, we need to do one thing. We need to check the IP address. So let's run ipconfig 10.10.123.102. And that's what we have configured in our payload here. So we're going to forward this 8080 on this box back to port 80 on the team server. That way you can use the web server. So let's hit that real fast. So we'll do our port forward. And it's going to be 8080 to localhost 80. There we go. So now we'll have port 8080 open on workstation 2. Awesome. Let's prepare our exploit here. So what we need to do next is we're going to pop into PowerShell. Let's clear that out. So we're going to set this string up here. So what this does is it just creates basically a download exec cradle in PowerShell. It tells it to download the stuff that's listed at /bypass and then pass it to IEX. So execute it. This is going to be our AMSI bypass. Then we're chaining on another command to do the same thing and then run a TCP pivot listener on this. So we're going to do that, and then we can run this command to basically base 64 encode it. Awesome. Let's grab this, copy that. We're going to go throw it over into, oops, no, don't do that. We're keeping it right here, basically, so we have a backup of it. Let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to run... What was that PowerShell command we did? I don't see it in here, but it should be fairly straightforward. Basically, just tell it hidden with an encoded command to run. Let's go over here. Actually, we're going to do this over here. This is great that we're being able to do this over in this system. So taking the little extra time to get the TGT and the TGS inputted here has been great. All right. So what we want to do is the module, I believe, is IXP CMD shell. I think that's the right module. And then the impersonate user, I'm going to tell it. Yeah, there we go. So impersonate dev /MS SQL _SVC. I think that was it. Double check our notes real fast. So for our MySQL notes, what was the impersonate command we just did? Yeah, there we go. It was MS SQL _SVC. Perfect. So then we're going to... Oh, I keep wanting to go back into Cobalt Strike because that's where we've been running these things. Yep. And then the command we want to run is... Let's do who am I? Just to double check execution. Invalid module. Maybe it doesn't have shell in it. Maybe it was IXP command. There we go. Got it. All right, cool. So now we're impersonated as MS SQL service. And then what we can do is... Actually, I wonder if we need to impersonate. I'm trying to remember. Because we've tinkered with this server a little bit. I'm going to take these out. And we're just going to do XP command. There we go. Okay, yeah, so we do need to impersonate to get the XP command on this one. If we were... Who was it? There was another account that was like a database administrator we could have done. But instead, what we're going to do here is, let's go copy our payload. The one we just had. Actually, I'll tell you what. We'll just get it from over here. So this base64 string is that encoded PowerShell command. We're going to bring it over here. We're going to tell it to run... We want to run PowerShell.exe. And we want to tell it to do a hidden window. And then an encoded command. And then we just drop in our 64-bit string. So if this works, we should be able to connect to that server on 31337, I think. Cool. So it looks like it kind of went through. Let's look at our listeners again. Yeah, so TCP is running on 31338. So we should be able to link over to that one now. So we want to do that from here. Which one is this? Okay, yeah, that was the system shell. We didn't want to run it from there. Let's do it from here. So now we should be able to connect over to it. So connect to SQL 2 on 31338. Yeah, boy. Look at that. Hell yeah. So workstation 2, we've got a link over to MS SQL service, and this is running as a high integrity process. That's why we got the red lightning bolts. Hell yeah. That's badass. So now, if we wanted to from bfarmer, we could actually run that same command here, right? So if we take this PowerShell command, let's grab that. And in fact, I tell you what, just for shits and giggles, let's do that part through SQL. Do we have our previous queries in here? It doesn't keep a history of our queries. Damn. Well, that's fine. We can just drop it in here. Let's see. Take that out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tell it exec xp underscore cmd shell. And then we're going to drop in our PowerShell command. And then we're going to triple that. Yes, that should be good. Okay, cool. So what this should do is this should open SQL 1 and then run the XP command shell, which we previously enabled, and then also run the TCP listener. Let's send it. Let's see. So additional metadata couldn't come back. Okay. Well, I don't care if it didn't come back. What I care about is did we get the connection? So let's go to SQL 2. Connect to SQL pack1 dot cyberoptic.io on 31338. Come on, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. It probably whammied. Looks like that one didn't take. Let's see if we can figure out why. Could not connect to target. Damn. All right, let's go take a look at our syntax again here. So we're doing exec xp command shell, PowerShell exe. We're running a big long base 64 PowerShell, and then we close it with a triple. That should be correct. Try to run it one more time. Oh, there's a list of what we've previously run down here. Nice. All right, so this says the metadata could not be determined because the statement XP command shell something invokes an extended stored procedure. Okay. And I don't really care. Let's try something real quick though. go over to this one. Let's do a quick port scan. So we specify the target. Let's do something. Let's run ns lookup SQL tac1.cyberbotic.io. Okay, so that's 10.10.120.25. That's what we need to hit. So let's do this. We're going to port scan that. Actually, we can't do that. We got to port scan the IP address. So port scan. And so we give it the IP and the port. Okay. So we're going to do 10.10.120.25 port 31338. The target's alive. It completed with no open ports. Okay, so that means it's not running on there, or the firewall's blocking it. But one thing else we can do is we can do the at syntax first of it. I just want to do this a little bit differently. You know what? Maybe it's this. Maybe we need to take out the PowerShell.exe and just do PowerShell. I'll try that. We didn't get an error this time. Very interesting. So it might just be that we can't give it explicit binaries to run. But more importantly, can we connect to it? Doesn't look like it, because when that sucker connects, because we're on completely interactive mode, it connects back real fast. Damn. Okay, so that did not, unfortunately, run. Oh, you know why? I just realized something. I bet SQL 1 cannot talk to B Farmer's workstation. And what did our payload do? Our payload called back to Bob's workstation. I bet that's it. Where's our port scan command we just did? Let's go run this over here. We'll do it against 445 though. Pretty reasonably assured 445 is open. Target's alive. Okay, so actually this thing can reach Bob. We can ping it. All right, so that kills that theory. Trying to see, I don't remember how to list out what the SOCKS servers that are currently running are. I know there's a way to, but I can not remember that command whenever I want to. I'll tell you what, let's try the linked XP command version of this. So this version worked, but instead of doing it the impersonate way, we want to do it on the linked way. Right here. So we'll do this across the link, and then we're going to take out the I. And we're going to give it the link that we want to use, which would be SQL tac1 dev.cyberbotic.io. And then we'll have it run this command. Because this one worked on SQL 2. So now we're going to see if we can link it and have it run on SQL. Did I not get this right? Oh, is my syntax jacked up? So we're connecting to SQL 2. Telling it to use the link XP command shell, sql1.cyberbotic.io. Let's double check something. Could not find SQL Server 1 in sys.servers. Oh, damn it. Because it's not in dev. It's not in dev. It's in the parent domain. I'm trying to figure out. I was like, I know the syntax is correct. There we go. All right, so looks like it's playing nicely. Badass. Let's see if we can link now. SQL1.cyberbotic.io. It might be just that there's a firewall on there and we can't get access to it. So we've got two options in here. Either we switch to an SMB or we go monkey with the firewall. I'm thinking let's switch to an SMB copy right now. So rather than trying to monkey with the firewall, let's do something slightly more stealthy, a little bit. So this one here, yeah, this is our SMB version. So what we'll do is we're going to modify that command. And unfortunately, we just gotta sit here and chill while it deletes out all this junk. At least we got good music. There we go. All right, let's drop in our new payload here. All right, so this should hopefully get us an SMB beat. Right, because we know we can reach 445. In fact, we can go test that real quick. Yep, so it's connected to the cyber domain. All right, cool. So now let's link SQL 1. Let's see if that works. If I just do SQL 1. Yeah, boy. Now, what's interesting here, check this out. So we're running as MS SQL Service here, but we're not here. I wonder if we can combine those two. I actually wouldn't do that. We're going to kill you. You die. You die now. And remove. I want to see if we can combine the impersonate and the link versions. Can you do that? Oh, before I go try this, let's try something. SQL recon link and impersonate. Let's check the docs. It's always good to RTFM sometimes, unless the FM is no F good. We have standard modules, linked modules, impersonate modules, which is all just the I variants of those. We have SCCM modules, but do we have we have another option here, I think. Since we're operating as WMI exec, or not WMI exec, we're operating as the MySQL service. So one thing we could do is, from this beacon, let's do a remote exec. We have to give this username and password. Nope, we don't. We said to give it the method, the target, and the command. So let's do remote exec. WMI exec has been pretty standard. Our target is going to be SQL tac1 .cyberbotic.io. And the command is going to be, who am I? Ah, damn, okay. So remote exec isn't going to work. We could try ps exec, but I doubt it's going to work. And the reason is because it's been flagged by Defender previously. I'm going to try it just for shits and giggles. Let's go connect to those servers real quick. There's SQL 2, SQL 1. So this was on SQL 2 that we ran this. Okay, cool, it did come back. Yeah, so SQL 2 probably flagged this hard. Let's go look. Wait for the server to warm up. Remember, these servers are a little slow in this lab because they're running in constrained hardware footprints, but they're really great. Are you gonna load up? Come on. There we go. Let this load up here for a sec. All right, cool. Let's go check our virus and threat protection history. Okay, so no, we're just not able to run this. Let's look at our groups real fast. It's local group administrators. Yeah, so MySQL service is a local admin. So he should be able to get access to this system. Oh, this is interesting. So there's an SCCM push client from Cyber, from the parent domain. We didn't see the SCCM in the dev domain. So that's interesting. Kind of blow this up a little bit for you. There we go. All right, cool. So we've got this guy going here. Interesting. I wonder why PS exec didn't work. We have another method we could attempt with this. What was our remote exec method? So PS exec, WinRM, and WMI. So we tried the first two. Let's try WinRM just for completeness sake. Connecting to the remote server is denied. Okay. Let's see if we can't do this again. So for some reason, when we spawn over there, what did our beacon come back as? Let's see. So SQL 1 came back. Actually, from the server machine, it looks like. Okay, let's try something here. Let's get funky. Let's copy this. Let's build us up a really like crazy command here. So here's what we've got. So we've got ourselves. Hold on, we're gonna have to do this in a new text file because otherwise we're gonna get lost in some stuff. But that's fine, because what we're gonna do is we need to make a new one anyway so we can pull from different data sources. File. New text file. There we go. So there's our XP command shell, and then what we want is we're gonna see if we can combine these. Let's see if we can. First thing let's do. Let's run commands to check for impersonation, but do it over the link. So we're gonna run from SQL 2 to SQL 1. And we're going to see if we have the impersonation permission. Let's see, where did we check for that? This was all just gathering situational awareness, what roles we had. That's right. So John King, if we were working as him, he is a SQL administrator. So that's just running queries. Where was our impersonation? Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see if we can just do this with... Let's even see if it's enabled on this guy. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run the impersonate module. But we're going to do the I impersonate module. I'm sorry, not the I impersonate. We're going to do the link version. So L impersonate. Let's run that. Here we go. So we'll tell it. Keep fat fingering into these things. There we go. So L impersonate, and then the link we're going to tell it is SQL tac1.cyberbotic.io. Invalid module. Really? Really? There's no link version for impersonate? Kill me, Smalls. Interesting. So we can check RPC, we can check links, we can check SMB, columns role, data users, who am I? Okay. All right, so what was our raw query? Let's do that. So we had raw SQL queries we could run to check this if impersonation was allowed. There we go. So we got these two right here. So let's prepare this command real fast. I'm going to take this out. Take out this whole thing here. So that's where our command goes. So the command we want to run is this. So I'm gonna leave this as is, just as our pristine copy. We're gonna run this. We're gonna inject it into this command, and then we got to do some cleanup. So one is taking out this. So we're gonna need to double this one. And then we're going to need to triple that one and double this one. There we go. That should work. Here's hoping I don't end up in delimiter hell. So we're doing an open query against SQL 1. But now we're running this against SQL 2, remember? So we're telling SQL 2, go query this from SQL 1. Let's see. Unclose quotation mark after character. Is it unclose quotation mark? Hold on, let's fix this real quick. So this needs to close, this needs to close. Oh, I know what the problem was. We actually did not need a double here in the beginning. We needed that. This needs to double. And this needs to double. And then we need a closing. There we go. That should be correct. Okay, cool. So impersonation's not even allowed here. So we're just barking up the wrong tree. Good to know. Because the next step I was going to do is say, hey, could we do an impersonation and then run it over on the other system? But doesn't look like we're in favor for that. So let's just go ahead and get our shell back. And let's backdoor these two servers. So we'll have persistent DNS beacons on them. So let's do that. I think we did it actually from here. Yeah. This one should be it. Yeah, let's try it. We'll let that run, and then we're going to go tell this one to link over to it. And boom goes the dynamite. So who are we running as on this one? Oh, so we're actually running as the MySQL service. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's do run net local groups. There we go. Got a couple different groups in here. I'm pretty sure we already checked for administrators. So our admins are domain admins and SCCM client pushes. Okay. We had more admins in SQL 1 or SQL 2 here. So if we did that again, run net local group administrators. There we go. Okay, so that's what. So okay, we actually could have had a little bit more visibility into knowing that SCCM was here if we had done a little bit of proper enumeration on this box, on the SQL 2 box, which is in the dev domain. Got it. All right. All right. Cool. Let's backdoor these bitches real fast. So one thing we're going to need to do is so these boxes don't have web access. So our typical backdoor program is not going to work. We can do that on this one, right? We can go... Actually, let's do something real quick. Let's cd into the Windows directory, and let's go ahead and just upload the DNS binary. So we got to do // payloads. Really? Oh, it's because upload doesn't have. We'll do our payloads, and then we're going to do DNS x64 executable. Yep. We're just going to drop that there. Awesome. And then we're going to cd it to back SQL1.cyberbotic.io into the admin share, which we do have access to because the MS SQL service is permitted on that box. All right, cool. So then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to upload our DNS x64.exe payload. We're going to do an ls again real quick just to make sure it actually did land on the box. Yep, DNS x64. Very nice. All right, cool. So now let's go backdoor these so we can have a little bit of persistence on them. Let's see, where was our... That was a registered malicious WMI event. We actually want... Let's do this as sharp persist. Let's go look at our... We have our persistence notes in here. We do not. We have persistence notes on here. Let's see. Nope, we got a lot of notes on pivoting. Okay, something in notes.txt. Oh, that was that, yeah. We have user impersonation, ADCS domain recon, DPAPI, GPO abuse, Kerberos, lateral movement. All right. We do something here. Where's our persistence in here? What we'll do is we'll use the same task scheduler thing right here. Yeah, so we're going to use sharp persist. That's it. Just making sure I knew exactly what we're doing. So what we'll do is, on this one, let's backdoor you first. So we'll do execute assembly. No, it's not payloads, it's the tools. Tools. Tools, thank you. Sharp persist, then release, sharp persist. All right, cool. We're gonna run this. We're gonna tell it. The type is a schedule task, and then we're gonna tell it what else. We're gonna give it the command actually we want to run. So the command we want to run is going to be // Windows /DNS for x64.exe. There we go. That should be good right there. And the reason why we're doing it this way instead of doing the same PowerShell command is because these servers do not have permissions to reach back to our through the corporate web proxy. Again, we're constantly running up against that issue there. So if we actually really wanted to backdoor them, let's look at something else. Let's see if we have another option here. What do we have in our payloads? So we've got a 64. We have an exe, a DLL, an executable, a PS1, a service binary, and then we've got a couple other binaries in here. If we need to insert those into shellcode for a binary exploit. We could drop the DLL and have it do a run32 DLL on there. Or a DLL host, because you notice on our listeners here, some of these are running as DLL hosts, some of them are running the binary itself, some are running in PowerShell. How do we want to do this? I think for now, let's just keep it simple. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to just have it run the binary here on the scheduled task. And then we also need to tell it, we'll give it a name. We'll stick with the updater name. It looks innocuous. And then we're going to add it, and we're going to have it do, I think it's log on? Let's see. Nice. All right, cool. And then we can run this exact same command here against this one. Oh, we don't have permissions to create a scheduled task. Stuck. All right, we have a way to get back into this box if it's ever required in here, but sad panda. So very cool though. So this is neat. We actually now have a foothold into the cyberrobotic domain. Hell yeah. Pretty cool. So one other thing we could do is there is a way to do a privilege escalation through here. So let's do that. We'll get our system shell and then we'll backdoor it. How about that? Let's do this. Okay, do it. After water. So let's take a look at let's do a little bit of, again, situational awareness. So we're running as a local MySQL server account, right? This is kind of like the web server account you see on a Linux system, the tripdubs account, right? Or tripdubs TAC data. So I tell you what, let's run seatbelt on this sucker. Do execute assembly. We'll do tools, seatbelt. Always wear your seatbelt. Bin, release, seatbelt. And let's see what we have for permissions. So we'll look at token privileges. Anyway, I always forget privileges does not have a D in it. It's one of the constant things I misspell. All right, so what token privileges do we have? So we can't assign the primary, we can't increase quota. So we got 3 that are, so we can change notify privilege, impersonate. Okay, we have the impersonate privilege. And then we have the create global privilege. Nice. Okay. Let's take a note here real fast. Before we get too far, let's make sure we've got our notes cleaned up in copacetic. Let's close this. We don't need it anymore. Let's go all the way to the bottom here. There we go. Let's grab our output here. Just so we remember exactly how we did this. And the reason why it's saying it timed out is because we're not actually expecting any data to come back. That's just the way the things will work here. Yeah, cool. All right, so now let's do something like this. Let's do this section we just did. Yeah, so that was our command execution message. This is going to be privilege escalation. Privilege escalation. Let's grab that. So now, so the cool thing here is we already kind of know what we've got going with this one, right? We've got seatbelt running. It's telling us we have an impersonation privilege. That's cool because I don't know how to abuse that, so I'm happy we're going to learn how to abuse that. Token internal like security token mechanics is something I have been meaning to shore up my knowledge of. Take those out. It's a bunch of shit. All right, cool. So that's interesting. Let's take a look here. So, oh, actually, so this privilege basically allows a user to impersonate a token that it's able to get a handle to. But which is cool because if we were a local admin, we could get a handle into everything. But because this account is not a local admin, it's a service account, right? We can't get a handle into a high integrity process. So there's another tool that we can use for this, though. It's called the sweet potato. If you haven't seen the potato style attacks, they're really cool. They basically have to do with usually some kind of token manipulation and shenanigans on the system. And there's 1,000 of them now, practically. Lots of different ones in here. So this is a collection of various native Windows privilege escalation techniques from service accounts to system. So perfect. That is a sweet potato. So what are we going to have to do here? So this is weaponized juicy potato with bits WinRM discovery, threat spoofer discovery, and original exploit. Okay. Cool. So not a whole lot handy here in the README. And this has actually only been updated like 2 years ago. What was the last commit they did? Oh, so they added some stuff on the ESF RPC. Okay, cool. EFS RPC is actually no, that wasn't the one I used previously on a pin test. It was the crap. What was it? It was DFS RPC. I was able to have a domain controller use DFS to connect to me, and then I relayed it to ADCS. That's what happened. That was a fun exploit chain. What's funny is the client actually caught that. I had 2 past domain administrator in that one, And it made me really happy because this was a very, very, very big company. And I guarantee you, all of you have shopped at their store. That's all I'm going to say. But I had 2 paths to domain administrator on them, and one of them was through ADCS, which actually they detected. They detected the rogue certificate that I generated as a domain controller. So I had a domain controller certificate. And the second path, though, was actually through manipulating their telephony system. And that one they didn't detect. So that was actually really cool to help them get that perspective on it. It's like, hey, by the way, yeah, the telephony system counts too. You want to make sure that's up to date. And they knew about it. They just didn't think I was going to get that far with it. They didn't know I could. They didn't know it was possible to get that far with that technique. All right, cool. So we have sweet potato here on the box. Let's go to tools. Yep, sweet potato. So let's take a look. Actually, I tell you what, let's do this. I want to do this real quick. Let's do sweet potato. Sweet potato. Backslash? No. No, this would just go straight to bin. Let's do sweet potato bin release sweet potato. Yep, so the help doesn't really help out a ton. Program to launch. Okay. I wish this gave a little bit more explanation to it. We'd have to actually probably go dig through the code to understand what it's doing, or go look at explanations of Juicy Potato and whatever bits WinRM discovery is. I don't know what bits is in this context. Oh, so it looks like it might be just spinning up the prints, a spoofed print server, and doing it that way. Interesting. Yeah, because what you can do is you can force a system service to authenticate against a rogue service that an attacker creates, right? So you create a rogue service. That service is then able to impersonate the system service while it's trying to authenticate. That's what's happening. Well, let me snooze these ads because we're going to get system on this, and then we'll do a little ad break. Let's get this. All right, so what we're going to do now is, so on this box, we're going to run sweet potato. We'll do tools. I guess I should tell it to execute assembly. So the tools, sweet potato, bin, release, sweet potato. And then we want to tell it what program to run. We can actually have it run. We want to have it run a local TCP is what we want. I think how I want to do this though. Hey Panda. I'm trying to think which direction I want to take this in. Do I want to upload the binary and run it that way? Or do I want to try and have it do a download exec PowerShell query? I don't want to go drop the PowerShell onto disk because we can avoid it in memory scanners because of the AMSI bypasses we put in place. Can't avoid the disk scanners because the PowerShell is not obfuscated and it's kind of a bitch to do it in the lab. Otherwise, we would have just obfuscated the PowerShell and dropped it on. So let's see what else we can do with this. I'll tell you what, let's try something. Let's copy this command out. Let's do a port scan. Port scan against, what is this one? This is Bob. So workstation 2 is 123.102. So we're going to port scan against 10.10.123.102 on port 8080. Okay, so it looks like it's open. All right, so that one we'll be able to call back, and we can run that. Okay, awesome. So we can't get away with doing it in the PowerShell way. It's going to call back. Let's go ahead and say this. A quick word of caution: if you're ever on a red team assessment and you're doing internal port scanning, make sure it's nice port scanning and not the default stuff that Nmap likes to do. I actually got caught one time because a very studious database administrator noticed weird TCP connections logs, like kind of broken, half open, half closed, the kind of weird shit that Nmap does whenever it's scanning a target. And he saw that in his logs and immediately took action, and they discovered my ass in the network. Only time I've ever been caught by a database administrator, and I was like, this dude needs a raise. He's legit. He is on the ball. Let's see here. Let's grab some real quick. Let's try our TCP connection here. Yeah. I think right now we're on SMB. You know what? Actually, we want to change this slightly. So let's do... Yeah, we want to change this a little bit. Let's make some modifications. Because this is TCP, which binds to the public, but we don't want that. Instead, what we want is... We're going to set this up. So we're going to do TCP local. We're going to go set this up on our system real fast. So let's host that. So the file we want is in payloads. There we go. TCP local x64 PS1. And we're going to call this TCP TAC local. Perfect. So we're going to host it. It's going to call back through workstation 2. And we're going to get it. So let's go base64 encode this. So we'll reset our string, we'll do our base64 encoding, and we'll grab this. These strings mostly look alike because only at the very end do the bytes change, because we're just changing the last couple bytes at the payload. And base64 is not an encryption, it's an encoding. So it's real easy to tell where the data changed. It doesn't have any kind of entropy to it. So let's take this, we'll drop it over here. And then what we're going to do is, that should work. Let's go back to our here. So over in SQL 1, damn it. I took out the command I wanted to run. Execute assembly. We'll tell it run from tools. Sweet potato. Then release. Damn it. Sweet potato. And then we're going to tell it what program we want to run, if I remember right. So, yeah, TACP. So the program we want it to run is Windows System 32. Actually, I'm going to try just doing it with PowerShell. Rather than giving it the whole path, I'm going to say just PowerShell. No, I really do want to run the whole thing. Hold on, let's do this. Drop you in. And then we'll just come prepend this stuff over here. For simplicity's sake, actually, I've got the syntax wrong anyway. So here's the program we're going to run. PowerShell v1. That's what we're going to do. And then we also need to tell it the arguments for the attack. So the arguments need a separate set. So it's going to be TAC W hidden and TAC encode. That should be it. All right, let's send it. So if this works, we should have a TCP local that we can connect to that will be running a system. All right, cool. Attempting NP impersonation method using print spoofer to launch PowerShell, triggering notification on evil pipe, and then server connected to our evil RPC pipe, duplicated impersonation token ready for process creation, intercepted and authenticated successfully, launching program. Nice. So now, if we connect to, let's see, TCP local was 31337. Double check. Yeah, TCP local was 31337. Perfect. Back here. Connect. Bam. System shell. And now, our handy little star persist tool. Bring this sucker right over here. Awesome. What happens if I change this? Curious. Hourly. Scheduled tasks with the same name already exist. I don't know if we have for sharp persist if there's a the M is like add or remove. I wonder if there's an update. Let's look real quick. Because really, I want this to run in two senses. I want it to run on login and then once and out. What do we have for the TAC-O option here? So we can add, remove, check, or list optional add-ons. Maybe we can do two. Maybe we can do TAC-O, login, and hourly. Let's remove it and try that. Because that will save us a little bit of trouble if we do it that way. So rather than adding it, we're going to remove. Task removed. Awesome. So we're going to try on logon and hourly. See if it'll take that. Oops. I forgot to change it to add mode. There we go. So we'll tell it to add this. Cool. Let's go look at SQL 1 real quick. Let's see what it... That's SQL 2. Here we go. Look at our scheduled tasks. But yeah, we'll check in task scheduler. There's updater. What's the triggers? Interesting, because that trigger should be different. So we go over here and we run task scheduler. Let's compare these two. Oh, so this says at login of any user. This just says daily at 10 a.m. Let's do a let's edit this. Let's see if it has any options to it. So properties. Does it have a? It should have like a repeat every hour option built into this. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. So it didn't like doing the hourly comma login. So I told it, let's do this. We could just leave it as the login. Let's go ahead and remove it back out. And then... Actually, I want to try this again, because like I want to know... We'll just do hourly. Or no, we'll do login, because then we're going to go change them both. So log on. We'll have that set. Damn it. Add. There. Badass. So now it's up and running, and let's see what we can do with that. So we've got that going now. Okay, so this is at user login. We're going to modify this also to have another trigger. Or say one time, task repeats every 1 hour. Just add that in real fast. It'd be nice to have probably a cool extension to Sharp Persist to be able to tell it to comma delimit those and like do both. Let's do properties, and we're going to add another trigger. Let it think for just a second. Awesome. And then we're going to do it. Okay, we should have changed that to 1 time. We should change that to daily. Yeah, we need to go fix the other one. Go fix that on this one, and then we'll be good. We'll have backdoored both the SQL servers. And now we have a foothold into the parent domain. So double kudos. Adjust this one here, so we'll go into properties, triggers, and let's edit this one. So let's tell this to do it daily. Occurs every 1 day for a duration of indefinitely. There we go. Awesome. Let's go look at our Cobalt Strike. Do we have any more event logs come back? Initial beacon system from SQL 1. Nice. Yeah, so we look at this. Look at all these systems we got like calling back home to us all the time. So these are all going to be calling back as DNS to us. If we really wanted to kind of be stealthy, we could have just a handful of these, like maybe Workstation 1 and 2 doing this, and then have pivot listeners set up on these other ones that we could connect over to. But not so worried about it. I kind of want to check something on this one, though. Just for grins and giggles. Let's do a PS real quick. Let's see who's logged in on this system. So the administrator is logged in. That's all right, let's do this. Let's go explore process list. I'll have it generate as a graphically processed list. Oh no! Damn it, I think I killed Cobalt Strike. You bastard. Hey Monk, alright. Thank you for managing the democracy for me. I'm just about to wrap up here too, because we've got... we did what we wanted to. We basically pwned the MS SQL stuff. So, and I think we just hosed up Cobalt Strike. So that sounds like a pretty good time to just cut it right there. Sucks, because I wanted to check something. I wanted to see like who do we have running in here. But for some reason, whenever we run that port scan UI, it crashes the user interface. So we could try one more time, but I don't let this one run. Oh, let me check something. Let's come back here. Let's look at something. See who's online. Let's see if anybody else from infosec streams is on. We'll go try and get to someone else on here. Let's see, because pretty much we're done for the evening there. It's just, nope, we're the only ones on right now. Okay. Anybody over here? No, he's not checking if they're online. Alright, that's fine. Let's see who we can find out that's on right now. See who's in the science and technology section. Who's doing some cool stuff in science and tech? Building a gaming rig. Interesting. Building a new PC. Don't know if anybody's doing anything super interesting right here. Chicken coops and ant cam. Not really looking all that interesting. Let's check out the software, folks. Who's doing stuff in software and game dev? We got MMO developer. I need my programmer socks. Alright, depends. Are you doing network proxying? There you go. This guy's working on Godot, since we just had a crew raid that was working on Godot from Off the Rails. See if there's anybody working on anything really fun right now. Learning Haskell. Horror game dev. I see anything super falling out in here. Let's see. This guy's probably the best bet right here, working on open source stuff. Oh, we gotta watch ads. Don't really care to watch ads, but see what he's up to. There we go. At least there were short ads. Which projects would you like to see worked on first? Okay. Invim biscuits. Okay, so he's going through and fixing some various open source schools. Yeah, he looks like he'd be decent. All right, everyone. Y'all have a fantastic night. We're going to hit up tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow? Well, actually, now that we've got access to cyber...
Caution. A virus has been detected.
Salty Demon 86 virus detected in the network.
Hey, Salty. What's up, buddy? Dude, you have impeccable timing, because actually we're just about to raid out and call it a night. How you doing, man? Salty raid. I will defend the network with cookie monsters. That's rich. What's up, dude? Actually, yeah, I was legit just prepping the raid as we're going out. Hey, Deb. How you doing? What were y'all playing, Salty? Oh, you had perfect timing because you were watching. I see. Stalking me, Fortnite. Hey, Deb, I'm doing pretty good today. Had a pretty relaxing day. I just did a bunch of shit around the house yesterday. Smoked some ribs today, so at least I got lunch for the week going now. So that always makes it a nice week. So, doing pretty good. Yeah, we're getting ready to raid out to this guy doing open source development. So, cool little stream. So, I was literally just telling everybody how much I love them, and thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you later. So, that's what we were doing. All right. Now for reals this time. Let's go raid this dude. Ah, crap, I lost his name. Copy it over here. There we go. All right. Let's get the raid going. All y'all have a fantastic night. I love you. Thanks for hanging out. Tomorrow night, we're going to actually go hack on that SCCM system that we now have access to because we got pivoted into the parent domain through the Microsoft servers. So, hell yeah. We're going to do some SCCM attacks. I used to be able to sing better than this. All right. All y'all have a fantastic night. Yeah, it is a sexy time, Salty. I will catch up with y'all later. Peace.
User sab1102 underscore is online.